Good morning! Well, who loves the swing? I know I do, and I know there's 2 people in my house that do as well. It's such a lovely day. I thought we could come outside and do our Sunday school lesson. Does that suit you okay? I hope so. So, today we're going to have our memory verse first, then we're going to sing, and then we're going to have our story. The first thing is our memory verse. Do you remember what it was? Do you remember what your memory verse was? No? Well, I know some of you do, because I know some of you have said it for me. You've sent it in to me. And as always, I love to see those videos. Our memory verse, something that Jesus told us about His words, about God's words. And where do we find those again? You're right, in the Bible. We find God's words, we find Jesus' words in the Bible. And these are some things that Jesus actually said when He was on the earth. He said, "My words shall not pass away." So Jesus' words, the things that He said, would not go away or would not disappear, because they're true, they're so special, they're God's words. And we have them in our Bible, don't we? And the Bible has been protected for a long, long time. It's a long time since Jesus said those things. And we can still read them. Isn't that brilliant? Now, let's say it together, okay? We're outside, so we need to be really loud. Whenever you're outside, you're allowed to use your loud voices, aren't you? So let's hear those loud voices this morning. Jesus said, "My words shall not pass away." And we find that in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 33. Let's do it again. Jesus said, "My words shall not pass away." Luke chapter 21, verse 33. We've only one last time to say it. I want you to do it really loud this time. Are you ready? Okay. What about your actions too? Do you think you could do those? Let's give it a go. Jesus said, "My words shall not pass away." Luke chapter 21, verse 33. Brilliant. You've another week to practice that one. And then next week will be our last one. And our last week of Sunday school like this, for a while anyway, because it'll be the Children's Sunday on the summer holidays. Okay, we're going to sing "This Little Light of Mine" now. Do you know, I wonder what this little light of mine means. It means if you have Jesus in your heart, you should shine, you should show other people that you love Jesus and that you are living for Him. And by shining and showing other people Jesus, then they can learn about Jesus too. So let's sing "This Little Light of Mine."
Everybody, I'm going to sing "This Little Light of Mine." Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Well, I hope you sang along to that. Sandy's decided to join me for our Sunday school today. He's decided to come out for our lesson because he loves the sun too, don't you? Yeah, but I have to put on my sun cream to make sure I don't burn. I don't want to get 2 red cheeks. Oh, I know, Sandy. We have to be very careful with our sun cream, don't we? Well, today we've got a very bright light. The sun's shining in my eyes. And today we're going to hear something about a very bright light, much brighter than the sun that's shining here today, but we're going to hear about it in a little minute. Do you know, we've been hearing about how the disciples were going about and they were telling everybody about Jesus. because they really loved him and they knew that his words were the best words. Oh yeah, and they even told about Jesus, even whenever, they even told people about Jesus whenever they were being put in prison. That's right, Sandy. Do you know, remember we heard some people didn't like the disciples talking about Jesus? Yeah, do you remember? And they talked to Peter and John and they told them never to say anything about Jesus again. Oh yeah, but they still did, even when they were in prison. That's right, Sandy. Well, there was another man, and he really, 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 really did not like people talking about Jesus. And he did everything that he could to stop them talking about Jesus. We're going to hear about him today.
What was his name?
He was called Saul. He was called Saul. Can you say that with me? Saul. Well, let's hear what he did. We're going to read in Acts chapter 9 verse 1, and it says, and Saul, there's his name. It says, breathing out threatening. He was threatening. That means he was saying that he would do awful things to the Christians, to the people who believed and followed Jesus. And he said he was breathing out threatenings against the disciples of the Lord. That's of Jesus, isn't it? Do you know what he did? He went, and it says here, he asked for letters so that he could put them in prison. It says in our verse, in verse 2. Look, Sandy, do you see? Yes, I'm looking. It says that if he found any, in whether they were men or women, that he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. What does bound mean? Well, bound means that he would bring them tied up like prisoners to Jerusalem. So Saul really, really hated the people who were talking about Jesus, and he wanted to put them in prison or even kill them. Imagine that.
Really? He was a bad man.
I suspect the disciples didn't like him very much, and maybe even Jesus wouldn't forgive his sins. Well, do you know what? Jesus would, because Jesus will forgive anybody, even if they're really bad, and even if they do awful behaviours to people who love God. Jesus will still forgive them.
Really?
Yes, Sandy, really. Because we do you hear what happened next? So he journeyed. He was coming to a place called Damascus. It's a big long name, isn't it? Damascus. And suddenly, will you hear what it says here?
Can I read it?
Yes, Sandy, you can read it.
It says, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. Oh, that's the big light you were talking about.
That's right. A big bright light shone from heaven, shone down on Saul as he was going to Damascus. He was nearly there, and this big bright light, even brighter than that sun, shone. And you know what? What happened, Saul? It says, and he fell to the earth and heard a voice. Oh, imagine if you were out for a walk. Saul was walking. Maybe he was on a donkey. But anyway, he was going along the road. Sounds like he was walking whenever he said he fell to the earth, because he fell down. And suddenly there's a big bright light shines, and you fall down, and will you hear what happened next? A voice. If you heard a voice, you'd be looking round to see who was talking. But there wasn't anybody there for Saul to see. Because guess what? It was Jesus' voice. And the voice said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? That means, why are you doing awful things to all the people that follow me? Oh yeah, because he was doing, and he was wanting to put them in prison. That's right. And that's persecuting. Or maybe sometimes somebody says something mean to you in school because you go to church, or maybe something like that. That's not a nice thing, sure it's not. No. And that's called persecuting. That's a very big word for it, isn't it? Just somebody doing something not nice because another person follows Jesus. That's what they were doing. Saul was going to put them in prison because they were following Jesus. That doesn't happen in our country, but in other countries it does, a long way away. Some people do go to prison because they love the Lord Jesus. And we pray for them because it's very hard for them, and we're really glad that we don't have to do that. We can come to church and we can listen to Sunday school, and there's no problem, sure there's not. Your mummy and daddy like you listening to Sunday school. Well, Saul heard this voice, and he said, but who is it? Because he didn't know that it was Jesus was talking to them. He didn't know that who it was. And you know what it says? These words are in red in my Bible. Do you remember what the red words mean? They mean that they're Jesus' words. And even though Jesus wasn't on the earth, he was speaking to Saul from heaven when he said, Saul, Saul. And then he said, I am Jesus. So it really was Jesus talking to him. That's right. Do you know, Saul was very afraid. I think I would be very afraid if something like that happened to me, especially whenever he wasn't following Jesus, and whenever he was doing really awful things to people who did follow Jesus. It says he was trembling like this. Yes, like that, Sandy. He was shaking. He was really shaking, and he was astonished. He was really surprised. And you know what Jesus, he said? He said, what will you have me to do? So here now, Saul, who had been doing awful things, now says, Jesus, what do you want me to do? Was he going to follow Jesus? Well, Jesus said to him, arise, get up, and go to the city, and I'll tell you what to do. And you know what? Saul did it. Because yes, he did follow Jesus. Wow. So Saul became different. That's right. Whenever Saul met Jesus, whenever he saw the bright light and he realized what he was doing was wrong, then Jesus came and changed him on the inside. Do you know what happened when Saul got up? He couldn't see anything. And the people who were with him had to bring him to the city, like Jesus had said. And Jesus sent along a man. And the man, he was able to help him, and he prayed with him. And Saul got his sight back. And you know what Saul did? What? Did he keep trying to take away the Christians? The people that follow Jesus? No, he didn't. He now was following Jesus too. And guess what? He told everybody that he could about Jesus. Wow. And you know what else? We have lots of letters that he wrote in our Bible because his name changed to Paul. And he wrote lots of letters. He travelled all over the place, bringing the good news of Jesus to lots and lots and lots of other people in different countries. He went around in a boat and all sorts of things. Really? And he told other people about Jesus? He did. He even told some very, very important people about Jesus as well. Wow. Jesus really did change him. Yes, he did. He changed him completely. He changed him on the inside, and that made him different on the outside, just like we've been learning about some of these different weeks. Wow. God changed Saul forever. He did. And he went from somebody who did awful things to somebody who told everybody that he met all about Jesus, who had changed him. He knew Jesus. He followed Jesus. He loved Jesus now. Wow. Wow. That's really, wow, I really like that. I really like hearing about how Saul got changed on the inside and then it made him different on the outside. Yes, Sandy, it was great. And I'm so glad that Jesus changed Saul, because now we have lots and lots of important things, important ways that we're to live. Saul taught us all about them in the letters that he has written in the Bible. Can you show me some of the letters that Paul wrote? Yes, I'll show you some of those letters right now. Look, who do you see? after this bit where Saul turned around and was changed by Jesus, then there's lots of letters all through here, right up to nearly the end of my Bible, that Saul wrote to different churches that he had visited and different people that he had gone to see. And he wrote lots of things for us. Wow. Well, I'm really glad. Oh, I'm really glad that you told me that story today. I'm really glad to hear all about what happened to Saul. Well, so am I, and I'm glad to have been able to tell you it. Now, we're going to go back inside now for a wee while, I think, Sandy and I. And we'll see you next week. Would you like Sandy to come to see you next week again? All right. Sandy, will you come and see the boys and girls again next week? Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. I will. Bye-bye. Bye.